Hello there, everyone. This is Adam from Scum. It looks like I'm by myself again tonight, but that's perfectly fine. I have you guys here, a bottle of Pepsi, and an interesting story for tonight. Actually, a twofer. Let's start with the first one, though, and I think it's one that you guys will probably get more of a kick out of. The time the Scum crew tried and horribly failed to play 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons. Now, the disastrous one off that we played was kind of the culmination point of weeks and weeks of Randall kind of wanting to run a one off of 2nd edition. And I don't even remember why he originally wanted to give it a shot. I think it might have to do with the very different rule system that 2nd edition had compared to 3.5. Because honestly, none of us played 3.0. None of us played 3.0. But either way, Randall wanted to give it a try as a one off because, well, Randall's the type of GM who every few months he just needs to take a quick break from the campaign and do something else just to refresh his creative juices. So he manages to eventually convince enough of us to get together into a group to actually play it. And the cast of characters include myself as Weetabix, the Diopsid as Aiden Band, Greg as I don't care. And let's go with Gary. Gary as I don't even remember his character's name because it didn't really factor in. Now, let me set the tone for what this one off was like. Randall wanted to do a little one shot where it used a lot of red letter media mythos elements to it. I think if I remember the campaign right, we were trapped inside the lightning fast VCR repair shop or in the basement of Mr. Plinkett's house. I don't remember exactly where. I'm pretty sure it was Mr. Plinkett's house though, now that I'm thinking about it. And our goal was to try to get out of said dungeon. It was just supposed to be a haha hoo hee hee funny kind of Christmas themed, if I remember right, campaign because we played it right around Christmas. Now, that's in theory what we were supposed to do. What actually happened was very, very different. Actually, let me set the scene for how I myself came into this because let's just say that Weetabix would not have been the first character I ever made for 2nd edition D&D. So, I pop in and Randall sounds visibly drunk. Now, later on, I realized he was trying to do a Mr. Plinkin impersonation, which, just sounds like you're fucking drunk. And Greg was just regularly saying, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And then I heard the Diopsid say that he's making Aiden Band a literal shitpost on Band-Aid for his cleric. So, with these details in mind, I tap into my id to create Weetabix. Now, Weetabix was a wizard. I think he was a wizard, but not a very good one. Now, admittedly, I got really lucky on his HP roll. I got the maximum HP for his roll for his health, and I think he had like an 18 strength. I did stats all the way down, and he did actually have an intelligence stat of I think a 12 or something. I don't quite remember because that character sheet is a long, long time ago. Either way, I knew the moment that I heard these kind of things, I knew I can't make a real people character. I gotta do something stupid. So I tap into my inner Beavis, and that's literally what his fucking personality was. As for why I chose Weetabix as a name, I think it was just the first stupid word that popped into my head. Might have been because I was listening to I was listening to like a Vine Sauce video where Joel was like trying to draw a Pokemon or something at the time. I don't quite remember exactly, but he did mention something about Weetabix. Either way, Weetabix was personality wise the worst character I probably ever made, besides one other, which I'll get into later. As for the campaign itself, it starts amazingly. Weetabix uses his one spell instantly. I believe it was on a bust of Rich Evans, which was, I think, literally the first 10 minutes in the game. And Weetabix was constructed in, I think, a span of like 5 minutes, which that's a rush job for me to create a character. But hey, rush job, and it was a game that apparently no one cared in, at least as far as I could tell. Then the Diopsid proceeded to waste his one cleric spell on healing a skeleton, which culminated in a very sad attempt to date said skeleton in. Oh god, just remembering this campaign. In the immortal words of the Diopsid, everyone was drunk, despite the fact that no one was drunk when we did this. That's some good Pepsi. So, after trying and failing to seduce the skeleton that woke up, Aiden Ban just proceeded to spend most of the rest of the campaign miserably crying. After a certain point, Greg's character, literally named I Don't Care, just didn't care so hard that they stopped existing as a character. I don't remember how they did it, but basically they walked through a wall or something, and reality started falling apart. I'm not gonna lie, I think there might have been some form of trash fire, and we were just getting high off the fumes. I don't remember this part too well. I do remember the next part vividly, like a car accident, though, because out of the dimensional vomit, the shattering of reality came. I think it's Billy Bob the Showbiz Pizza Bear, and we were gonna throw down with it. Well, actually, the others were gonna throw down with it. I, as Weetabix, just twitched my way out of the dungeon. Oh yeah, I think we also killed like a half orc for no reason. I don't remember why. But either way, Weetabix is out of the picture. He's getting murdered by cops, or at least I wanted him to get murdered by cops for the homicide we committed. Weetabix sought death. God damn it. But anyway, the fight with the Showbiz Pizza Bear with the remainder of the party ended with Gary. Gary's Charisma 5 female fighter and the Pizza Bear failing to reach their THACO number so fucking much that they eventually, the meme mistakes into miracles. Yeah, that happened. They had very disappointing, awkward, yeah, together, and it resulted in the end of that particular campaign. And that's all I have to say about that, because just remembering that campaign gave me a fucking migraine. Ugh. Speaking of migraines, there's still the other time I made a trash fire character, and no, I'm not talking about Varuna. Varuna was a trash fire so unique I could actually do an entire video on how bad I designed that guy. No, instead, let me tell you the tale of Jimmy. So, the scenario of how Jimmy was created was another one-off that was run by Randall. And actually, it was another pre-apocalypse game that he had for his post-apocalypse setting. Basically, we would create our characters and have them utterly screw up the modern world and not lead to the apocalypse because, well, our characters didn't start the apocalypse. Other things kind of did, and, well, they were just part of the initial wave of destruction. So, for this particular one, the cast of characters include Al, who I believe played, he played, I think it was like a catfolk rogue or something like that. I don't quite remember. I don't remember anything but Al being there as like a catfolk. And Biggie was there too, and I don't remember his character. Because the thing that my brain, honest to God, remembers most is that Fish was in that particular game. And he made a frenzied berserker. He made a Kender frenzied berserker. In fact, actually, let me recreate how I got into there. So I pop in, right? And I hear Fish say, here's my character, a Kender frenzied berserker. Something in my brain just said, fuck it. And thus Jimmy was born. Now, what's Jimmy, you might ask? Let me show you. This is Jimmy. This horseshit character sheet is Jimmy. His stats are Jimmy. His experience is Jimmy. His race is Jimmy. He's Jimmy. And Randall okayed this character. Jimmy died in one hit, arbitrarily. He just died in one hit. But every time he died, a clone would pop out. Like, I don't know how, it just did. And each clone could fucking Brain Blast, which was the D100 fuck you chaos dice. And again, Randall okayed this. In my defense, Kender frenzied Berserker. Against me, though, well, let's tell the tale of how Jimmy utterly fucked everything. So, Jimmy, if I remember, the order of events was we all got teleported into a park somewhere in Baltimore. And Jimmy proceeds to, I believe, use his bullshit powers to randomly murder hobos. I don't remember why. Or it might have been the Kender Berserker. Anyway, I'm about to vomit just saying those words. Uh, Either way, one thing leads to another, and Jimmy makes an undead atrocity in the form of stapling a bunch of dead guys together, and just fucking unleashes that on the world. He then proceeds to hijack a jet somehow. I still don't know how. I think it was just rule of stupid. But either way, he hijacks a jet, and he makes it better, and it just proceeds to go full AI, artificial intelligence, on the fucking city. And throughout this all, I'm completely wrecking the fucking campaign in terms of the other people who gave a shit, i.e. Al and, to a lesser degree, Biggie. I think Greg might have been in this one. He might have been. I'm not gonna lie, I just really remember Jimmy fucking driving a train right on this fucking setting. God damn, it's actually causing my throat to hurt just remembering this. Um, anyway, it eventually culminates in Jimmy just finally arbitrarily not being allowed to create any more clones, because in the character sheet you can see it says that he has an arbitrary number of clones, and I figured that was a good stopping point. Then the frenzied berserker continues the trash fire for another half hour, murdering random National Guard. And I think he could fly around on his butt because he basically made Carl Weezer. It it culminates in that, and throughout it all, I only remember Al's character vaguely because apparently apparently Biggie used a case of Lima syndrome or Stockholm syndrome to make Al's character his waifu. I don't really remember. Either way, both of these stories have at least one thing in common. I should not under any circumstance create a character for a campaign if it sounds like no one cares. Because if it sounds like no one cares, or at least I interpret it as this, I make bullshit like Jimmy. I make bullshit like Weetabix. Anyway, since you decided to admirably stick through this trash fire story time, I will actually give you a little bit of a spoiler for the finale of Confessions of a Part-Time Sorceress. This is Adam. I hope you had an amazing night, and just take a little look-see-loo. See ya, everyone.